A research assistant randomly selected 75 undergraduate students from the list of all students enrolled in the psychology degree program at a large university. She asked each of the 75 students, how many minutes per day do you typically spend reading? The mean reading time in the same was 89 minutes. That should say sample. And the margin of error for this estimate was 4.28 minutes. Another research assistant intends to replicate the survey and will attempt to get a smaller margin of error. Which of the following samples will most likely result in a smaller margin of error for the estimated mean time students in the psychology degree program read per day? So what numbers did we circle?
75.
You got 75,
89.
89,
And 4.28.
4.28. Okay, so we're dealing with some numbers. What are some of the content vocabulary that we underlined? Mean. Okay, so what I would do is actually additionally annotate. What is mean? Average. So I would just branch off and label it average. What else is some other content vocabulary?
Margin of error.
Margin of error. Do you guys know what that is? Okay, so I got one person who knows what it is. So Jennifer, I'm going to ask that you don't say anything because I want to show you how you can still answer a question even if you don't know the vocabulary. Speaking of the term margin of error, what do you guys think margin of error has to do with?
Like any faults.
Faults? What's another word for error? Failure. Okay, so any faults that might happen in this, any mistakes that might happen. So I would label margin of error. I'm going to guess that it has something to do with mistakes. And so that's what we're looking at. And so what I want us to also think to really understand this question is, what type of math do you think this is? What type of math class would you see this in?
Statistics.
So this is a statistics question. Because the question says, which of the following samples will most likely result in a smaller margin of error for the estimated mean time students in the psychology degree program read per day? That's a very lengthy question. So what's it really asking us for?
How to make this margin of error smaller?
So how to make the margin of error smaller. So, right. So is it asking us to find the margin of error? Are we actually going to do any math? No, and that's another thing about standardized tests is a lot of the time the math questions, you don't have to do too much math in them, and so you don't want to be overwhelmed by that. So now let's move on to the last step, which is to look at the different options that we have. There are 4 different choices. Now we want to analyze the choices so we can do process of elimination and get rid of the answers that are not worth it, so we can increase the chance of getting it correct. So what I want you to do is find between the answer choices, what is there in common and what is there that's different?
Randomly selected undergraduate.
Well, so randomly selected undergraduate is going to be the same in all of them. And since it's the same in all of them, is that going to eliminate anything? No. So we got to find things that are common or different in just 2 or 3 of them so we can start eliminating things.
Psychology degree program.
Okay, so which one is focusing on the psychology degree?
A and C.
Okay, so A and C have the psychology degree. So A and C are the same this way, so I'm just going to note that by connecting them, the A and C. And then are B and D the same? Yeah, so then, did I say C? B and D. B and D are all degree programs, so then B and D are going to be different. Are there any other similarities that we can see between the answer choices?
The numbers.
The numbers. Okay, so what numbers are the same? Which ones?
40 and 300.
Okay, so what I would do is circle the 40s together and then the 300s together. And this is going to help me be able to eliminate. I'm not actually really looking for the answer. I'm just going to get rid of the ones that don't make sense. So thinking about what our question is asking us, which ones can we automatically eliminate?
The psychology degree program, so we can eliminate B and D.
Yeah.
It's too general.
Yeah, so we can eliminate B and D because the question is only asking us for a psychology degree. So simply by reading the question, we're able to eliminate 2 of the answers, and now we have a 50% chance of getting this correct. So even though we might not have known margin of error, we were able to figure this out. And you'll be able to go through this process much quicker on your own by identifying the important information, the numbers, the content vocabulary, really asking yourself, what is the question asking you? And then last but not least, finding the commonalities and differences between the answer selections.